Hello to everyone out there on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube and IG. My name is Makeda Valletta, also known as the Body Scientist, and I hope you all are well today. In case you don't know me, I have a background in exercise and sports science and nutrition science, okay? And I'm a USA Olympic weightlifting coach, an NSCA certified strength and conditioning coach, a sports nutritionist certified by the ISSN, and I'm an exercise physiologist. And so I'm live right now on IG, but it seems that the connection is going in and out. But this video will be archived on my YouTube page, The Body Scientist 81. Okay, so in case you are unfamiliar with my work and my approach to health and fitness in the body, I'm all about holistic approaches, okay? And also really acknowledging and studying the science. So in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic, I know there's still a lot of people who don't take it seriously, which I think is crazy. But if you're looking at the stats, because I have been paying attention to the stats, and I also have friends on the front lines, friends who are ER nurses in New York, ICU doctors in New York, but also in some other places. I have been told that there are a lot of young people being hospitalized for COVID, okay? And so at first people thought, it was just old people. At first people thought, it was just like the flu. But if you're actually following the stats and the science around this virus, it is not like the flu. It is a lot more infectious and a lot more damaging, okay? And there's so many reasons why that is. But there are a lot of people in their 20s and their 30s that are dying. There also have been some teenagers. And in Chicago, there was an infant, okay? And so the question is, why are there so many healthy people dying? Why are there so many healthy young people dying? And I put healthy in quotations, okay? Because it is my belief that a healthy young person will not die from this disease. So if a young person in their 20s, 30s, 40s, teens, okay, even 50s, okay, dies, that doesn't mean, and they don't have any known comorbidities. So known comorbidities. Comorbidities are things that make it a lot more likely that you will succumb to this virus and other viruses, okay? So what are those comorbidities? High blood pressure, diabetes, cancer survivor, any kind of autoimmune issues, people with underlying lung issues, okay? People who have sleep apnea, people who have asthma, allergies. If you're having a bad allergy flare-up and it gets combined with that virus, I don't think that's also a good combination, right? And also malnutrition, okay? Malnutrition is for sure a comorbidity. And a lot of people, despite what people might think, a lot of people in the Americas are malnourished. A lot of people in the world are malnourished, okay? So even though there may seem like there's a surplus of food in this country, a lot of the food is really depleted. And it's not just in the United States, because those of you who follow my work know that I travel around a lot, and everywhere I travel to, I always analyze the foods in the area that I'm in, okay, the country that I'm in, the city that I'm in. So a lot of the world has malnourishment issues because the food is processed, is grown in soil that is depleted of nutrients, everything is homogenized and pasteurized. And me as a nutritionist, I work with individuals. There's so many clients that have had so many rounds of antibiotics. And every single time you take antibiotics, every single time, it greatly depletes your flora. Every time you put like a antibacterial soap, antibacterial hand sanitizer, take antibiotics, okay? Or, you go to the hospital. Like I remember my navel ring got ripped out a couple years ago and they gave me this like antibacterial ointment. Every time you use those things, I'm talking about ones from the medical industry, made from artificial chemicals, not the ones that are made from like aloe and tea tree oil, but the artificial ones. Every time you take those, okay, or expose yourself to that, it kills all of the bacteria. So if you're taking antibiotics for something, some kind of infection, every time you do that, it completely destroys your gut flora. Okay? You have good and bad bacteria. Those of you who follow me know that I talk about this a lot. So if this is new to you, make sure to go back and watch my videos on this topic. And I will post some of them below this YouTube video. Okay? Probiotics is everything. It's your first line of defense against all infectious disease. All organisms have requirements for life. That includes humans, that includes the things in the sea, that includes bacteria and viruses. They have requirements for life. Good and bad bacteria cannot live in the same environment. Okay? So if you have a lot of good bacteria and the bad bacteria can't live there. But if you have a lot of bad bacteria, the good bacteria won't survive there. And if you have a lot of bad bacteria, it welcomes viruses and other infectious diseases when you become exposed to them. This is why it's critical to build up your microbiome, okay? And there's a lot of people who had a few courses of antibiotics in their life and they don't eat fermented foods and they're not taking probiotics, okay? Like, for example, this is the probiotic brand that I swear by. I've been using it since 2004, 2003. And I have recommended it to many of my clients for various reasons. And I've seen great results from it. Is this company right here, Garden of Life, Raw Probiotics Garden of Life, okay? It's cheapest if you get it on Amazon. You can find it in Whole Foods, but it's actually cheaper on Amazon. So this is 100 billion per pill, and there's 34 strains. Most probiotics that you see in the store might be like 5 billion per pill with like 3 strains, okay? So that's not that potent. This is much more potent. You want to, we have like thousands of different, maybe millions of different strains of bacteria in our gut, species, right? And then we have trillions upon trillions of bacteria cells in our gut, on our skin, and our vagina, like all over us, right? And what was I gonna say? We have more bacterial cells than we do human cells. Okay, so this is important. But so, like I said, I talk about this more in other videos. But there are a lot of people who have a lot of courses of antibiotics. And so they may not have a diagnosed health problem, but just because you don't have a diagnosed health problem doesn't mean that you're healthy. Okay? It doesn't mean that you're healthy. And when people come into the hospital, these people who are dying of COVID, we don't know what their eating habits were. We don't know if they were on a low-fat diet. We don't know if they were vegan, vegetarian. We don't know, what they were eating. So there are people, and like I always talk about healthy eating propaganda. There are a lot of people, when you ask them what is healthy eating, they're like, oh, eat lots of raw fruits and vegetables, eat lots of salad, drink my kale juice, eat low fat, I don't consume dairy, I don't consume red meat. And they're afraid of fat and cholesterol, all these things. And that actually will create a malnourished body that doesn't function at its highest level. Because our lungs and our brain need saturated fat. Our skin needs saturated fat to function properly. We need lots of cholesterol to produce hormones. We need lots of cholesterol to produce vitamin D from the sun. And you can only produce vitamin D from the sun if you're outside from like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and depending on where you are in the country. Like, so a lot of the world, you cannot get vitamin D from the sun year-round, okay? So it depends on where you live on the planet. And you have to have much of your skin exposed. And you have to have adequate cholesterol in your diet. If you don't have enough cholesterol, you also, can't make your hormones. All of your hormones are made from cholesterol, and cholesterol are messengers. Vitamin D is actually a hormone, it's not a vitamin. And vitamin D plays a significant role in our immune system, in the functioning of our immune system, okay? And vitamin D especially is linked to the prevention of lung infections, upper respiratory tract infections. Most of the world is vitamin D deficient. That's a huge, huge issue. And besides the sun, being mostly naked in the sun, besides that, where else can you get vitamin D? Liver. A lot of people these days don't eat liver. I mean, depending on what country you're in. If you grew up in the bush in Africa or, Asia, you probably do eat liver, probably South America too. People in America who are older than 60 usually do like liver. But a lot of younger people now don't eat liver. Okay, one thing about Chicago, I see liver on menus a lot. But in most of America, I don't really even see liver on the menus anymore. When I was in Colombia, I saw liver and other organ meats on fast food menus, actually, which is good because organ meats are where all the nutrition is. But a lot of younger people don't eat liver. A lot of people don't want to stay away from red meat. People keep talking about zinc and how much zinc builds up your immune system. The highest sources of zinc are red meat, eggs, dairy, all things that I eat a lot of from farms. But those are the highest sources of zinc. A lot of people don't consume those foods, okay? So a lot of people who say that they're so-called eating healthy. Or a lot of people might be eating foods from the commercial food industry. So even if they're eating milk and eggs and meat, it's not very nutrient dense because it's coming from sick animals from the commercial food industry, which is why I'm always telling people to do your very best to get your food from farmers markets, even though it can be difficult because it's more expensive. This is the problem. All the food that's the worst for you is the cheapest food, okay? And it can be hard if you have a family. I mean, I spend a good amount of money on good food. If you have like 3 kids to feed, that can be a challenge, but you really want to do the best you can with that, okay? But the thing is, yeah, a lot of people, they don't know what healthy eating is, okay? Their idea, they don't really know that much about nutrition, and they just think, oh, I'm eating a low-fat diet, low cholesterol, blah, 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 blah. Those things make you malnourished, okay? And check out the videos I'm going to post below my YouTube video because I'll give you many resources to look at because I always like to give references and back up what I'm saying. So, you know, I don't believe that a lot of healthy people, like, they'll be like, oh, this person was a bodybuilder. A couple people told me about bodybuilders they knew who were in really bad condition in the hospital. And if you follow my work, you know, I've always talked about how bodybuilding is really unhealthy, okay? The way bodybuilders eat is not for health, okay? Bodybuilders eat for a look. And the way that they eat is extremely unhealthy. I have a video on YouTube, too, about the difference between eating like an athlete and eating like a bodybuilder. The difference between sports nutrition and bodybuilding nutrition is different. Bodybuilders don't eat to perform. They don't eat to be strong. They don't eat to have endurance and to be able to endure. Bodybuilders don't eat for health. They eat to manipulate. They use nutrition to manipulate how they look. You know, it's extremely unhealthy. So, and a lot of bodybuilders take all these protein shakes. I have videos about toxic protein powders. I do not believe in protein powders of any kind. Okay? If you don't follow me on Instagram, you don't read my posts on Instagram, be sure to do that because I'm always posting things and analyzing the ingredients and showing people why it's a problem. Most people have no idea what the hell they're buying, even when they think they do, okay? So that's why I'm into educating people so they can understand. And when you approach nutrition, remember you're eating for nutrients, okay? Forget about calories, it's nutrients. Do you know how much vitamin D you need? Do you know how much vitamin A you need? Do you know how much vitamin E you need, vitamin K? Do you know what they do in your body? Do you know the best food sources for it, okay? And how they all work together. Most people don't. So if you don't know those things, how do you know that you're eating a healthy diet? And our bodies are amazing organisms. So you could be nutrient deficient and you won't drop dead because your body will pull from other places, right? But then when your body is tested, like pregnancy and illness, that's when a lot of stuff will show up. People start dying, you know, people get so jacked up. So many women get so jacked up from childbirth, their hair is falling out. This has happened. That's because they were nutrient deficient to begin with. In traditional cultures, men and women went on certain diets, special diets before conception. This is important for both. For the quality of the man's sperm and for the quality of the woman's eggs in her womb. But because the woman grows the baby, it's going to take way more out of her. And then she chooses to breastfeed, same thing. So if the woman is not eating a highly nutrient diet, she'll get depleted. Now here comes the postpartum. Here comes all these other problems, right? That all has to do with nutrient deficiencies. The world is nutrient deficient, okay? If you look at the foods that people were eating 100 years ago, they were way higher in vitamin A, way higher in vitamin D, way higher in fats. People ate fatty meat. They ate so much fat, you know, animal fat, okay? Check out the work of Weston A. Price. I talk about it in videos all the time so you can see what I'm talking about. So I think that, and when I look at a lot of young people these days, like college students, I live by two colleges in Chicago. I live by Loyola University and Northwestern. I used to work by DePaul. I go to the University of Chicago sometimes for things over that area. But even in New York City, I'm always around Columbia University and other universities, Howard, whatever. It doesn't matter what university I look at. Even, documentaries I've seen on Netflix and college students. Every time I see today's college students, they look underdeveloped, okay? Their bones don't look strong enough. They look short. They look like they're in junior high school. So many college students today look like junior high school. They do not look like what they looked like when I was in college. And so a lot of that is malnutrition, okay? Eating a bunch of nutrient-deficient foods and not understanding how big of a role nutrition plays. So just because somebody doesn't have a known comorbidity, okay, because having very low vitamin D is a comorbidity, but doctors don't know that. That's not what they study. They don't know anything about nutritional deficiencies and what that does, okay? So this is the reason why I've always been telling people, your health is a priority. Your health should be. Let me say that. It should be. Because now is not the time. If you're not healthy, it's never too late to try to get healthy. But it is a little bit late right now, okay? You want to have always been doing this. There are so many people who put off their health because they just focus on the aesthetics, But I've always said, I don't want to die before my time. Who wants to die too soon for no reason just because you decided to eat Popeyes and soda all the time? We make our own decisions. But if your time out happens at 55 because you weren't doing, you weren't taking care of yourself, now you left behind your family, that's on you. But people have to take it more seriously. Another huge comorbidity is obesity, okay? Like a huge portion of the people who are dying are also overweight, okay? So obesity is an issue for so many reasons. Anything that's going to make it harder for you to breathe, okay, is a problem. But a lot of people aren't as healthy as they think. So I really suggest you start doing your research and understanding, and this is what I'm going to be doing on my Patreon page. I know I keep talking about it, but I've just been studying and just busy with a bunch of stuff, but I am actually going to be launching it soon. And on that page, that's where I will be going more in depth on a lot of these things, like how to know how much vitamin A and vitamin D you need, how to understand the markers from the doctors when you get your blood work done. Because if you can do anything else, you want to get your blood work done so you know those things, okay? Because nutritional deficiencies and imbalances play a huge role in the functioning of your immune system and your health. Your body's ability, when you have all these imbalances, your body can't fight when it's time to. Okay, this is very, very important. And I think that the health of a lot of young people is not that good these days. But even during other so-called pandemics, a lot of times it happens, people aren't that healthy. 1918, I don't know about the whole world, but I know that you had a lot of situations of people still at that time starting to eat. People were healthier then, than they are now. So this could be a whole lot worse for that reason. And for the people who are acting like this is not that bad, it's being blown out of proportion, the death rate of the flu is 0.1%, right? The death rate of this is somewhere between 1 and 2%. So that's a huge difference. And it may sound like a small percentage, but it's not when you start dealing with numbers and bodies, okay? So take care of yourselves. Be sure to check out the videos I post below on my YouTube videos so you can do your own research. I always have references. And take care of yourself, okay? And I'm always available for one-on-one consultations. Should you be interested, you can just email me directly at thebodyscientist81@gmail.com. Okay, people, take care. Bye.